So, Nico, start with just adjusting to a new system. Obviously, you did it in the spring. You're continuing that now. So, was it a difficult adjustment? Do you think you're getting there?
Definitely, any change is scary at first. So, but I mean, this offense I feel fits me so well, and we have so many pieces that go with this offense so well. Just the right number of vets coming back. Bowie and Cam Vaughn and guys who know this system. Really help it move like a well-oiled machine. But no, I really enjoy playing in this offense. Feel like I'm getting a better grasp of it every day we go out there. That's what camp's for.
What's the hardest thing to grasp?
I would say. Phone's buzzing. I would say probably the tempo. Simply, I mean, it is. We want to be the fastest team in America, and we try to push that every single day.
How big has Pat White been on a mentorship side of things, on learning this offense from somebody who ran it?
He's a guy to have like him. It's second to none. He not only played in this system, but he played here, and he's in our shoes. He was here not so long ago, and the wisdom he has is incomparable. Very, very grateful to have him. And then along with Coach Rhett, someone who all he's known for football is Coach Rodriguez's offense. So just a great blessing to have both of them.
This offense, and I mean, I'm sure you kind of knew a little bit about it, heard stories about it, you decided to stay and learn it. But what's it been like in comparison to what you thought and what you're actually dealing with and what it actually is?
For sure, yeah.
I imagine there had to be surprises.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, the biggest surprise is always going to be the tempo. Like what a fast offense is, but you can talk about playing fast, and everyone wants to be fast, and then you come out here, and there's a difference between jogging up to the ball and sprinting up to the ball every single play. Tempo is something we want to continue to get better at every day, but some of the surprises I would say is just. I mean, there's ways to get everyone the football. Tight ends are getting just as many touches as the receivers, and running backs are getting just as many carries as the quarterbacks, arguably. So just the flexibility of this offense is awesome.
Rich just said he has to remind himself you, Jalen, and Max aren't freshmen, so you're able to learn these pretty quickly. How much does having played help learn all this new stuff?
Oh, it's awesome. I think experience is the best way to, have confidence in anything you do. So with the games that I have played in and the experience I do have in college football, it's something I can always go back to and think back on and have something to compare to. Some form when I had success. You remember those moments, and the ones that you didn't do so well on, you learn from them.
You spent the early part of your college career learning how to play one way. Is there anything that carries over, or is all out the window and it's something completely new?
Great question. Yeah, I think some things like footwork, I think that really can carry over. That was something that we honed in on. My whole career was just having precise drops and precise footwork, and and then the things like mechanics. You always try to keep your mechanics consistent, and then defensive knowledge. I think that can play into both offenses where defense is defense. 1 high, 2 high, you got to know what you're looking at and know how to beat it. But other than that, it is an entirely new system that I feel like I fit really well in.
How about decision making quickly?
Right, absolutely. That's another one for sure. Decisions probably have to be made a bit quicker. And it just goes back to the tempo you were trying. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to play fast. So decisions definitely quicker. And then knowing pre-snap, you got to know what you're doing. You got to have a plan pre-snap more so than the other offense.
What about the system that you feel fits you personally?
Just it gives me a lot of flexibility to be who I am as a player. I haven't ran a whole lot in my career, but I feel like I'm the most athletic I've been in my entire career right now. So when I do run, I feel better than I ever have been running. Throwing the ball, whether we have just the right amount of quick game, just the right amount of drop back, just the right amount of stuff, where it's a lot of the throws that I've had success with in the past. And then just like I said, having guys like Cam Vaughn and Jaden Bray and guys who are just almost 50-50 balls aren't 50-50 balls with them. That there's a very good chance they're coming down with it. So. Guys like that, they give you a lot of confidence in the offense for sure.
So one player that you've been with for a minute that was also here with you in the old regime with Rodney Gallagher, what's his progression been like? What is he like now before. This is going to be a big season, year 3 for him.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's been awesome. He had a huge offseason. I just know I see his commitment level, see obviously his connection to this school and this team. He's a great locker room guy, great teammate, super hardworking, and has really grasped the offense really well. I learned, like I said, having Bowie in that room with him, he's learned everything he can from him, and then he goes out and performs. Rodney Gallagher's had a really good offseason.
A lot about that game you had in high school where you led that late game comeback. You were all beaten up and battered. Seems pretty hard-edged to me. Can you talk a little bit about how hard-edge fits you as a mentality, as a culture within the program?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just like you said, hard edge is a lifestyle. I think it's everyone talks about having a culture and having, you can have all these good buzzwords that sound really well, but it's an entirely different thing to live it. And this team, I think, really embodies hard edge. We're getting better at it every single week, but like I said, hard edge is not something that you do one day and don't do another day. It's something that you live by, and like Coach Rod says, once you learn it, you never want to go back to your old lifestyle. So I'm really grateful to have mentors like we have here, just enforcing rules that'll stay with us for the rest of our lives.
Nicco, it sounds like you all go live tomorrow. Your quarterbacks are not hands off. You're smiling, so you like. How much does the audition change when I'm sure it's very easy to run, the willingness to run, and you can't get tackled, right?
Absolutely.
But tomorrow's just a whole different game. It sounds like.
Right. I think in my head it's less of a stress on my shoulders. That means we can play regular football. I've taken hits. I've felt what it's like to get hit. Maybe I haven't in a long time. It's been a long time since the season, but this is why we do it. This is why we play football. And we have smart quarterbacks in the room where you avoid damage, you avoid hits when you can. But man, what a blessing! You get to play real football now.
Obviously, you're in a competition, but what's different about even the mindset of being in a competition while everybody else is in a competition? So, like the wide receivers, you're throwing the ball, they don't have anything locked up. The defensive players tomorrow, they might be trying to add a little extra on the tackle because they don't have anything locked up. That's a little different than if you're just competing and they have their spot
Very
locked
true.
up.
For sure, yeah. I think it's kind of like a blessing in disguise having that, because just like you said, competition is going to make everyone better. And if we have every single room competing, man, we got a good team then. It's also nice because every time we're hopping out there as quarterbacks, you're going with a bunch of different receivers every time, different O-line. So you may think like, oh, you can't get in a rhythm then, you don't have your crew out there, but eventually you're going to get in a rhythm with everyone, and then everyone's going to be on the same page. So I think it's awesome. Yeah, I see the defense gets fired up just as much as the offense, and yeah, we're going to be flying around tomorrow.
What do Jalen and Max kind of bring to the room?
They're awesome. Yeah, just it's nice to have other like old guys in the room. We're kind of on the back half of our career, but they're awesome, man. They're great competitors. They both bring different kind of mindsets from both their past schools, and I like that they can have a separation, off the field and on the field. On the field, we're competing, and there's only one quarterback that plays, but off the field, we're friends, and we're normal people too.
Have you ever been in a room with majority left-handers?
Man, it's a relief, I'll tell you, because now the drills that get shown, they get shown more lefty, so you don't have to flip them in your mind. But yeah, it's good stuff.
What's it been like building a relationship with a whole new O-line?
One more time.
What's it been like building a relationship with a whole new offensive line?
Oh, it's been awesome. That's one thing I've really cherished, honestly, because it's truly a fresh start. But something like Landon Livingston, he was with me my first day on campus ever as a freshman back in 21 or 22 or whatever. So it's cool to have that relationship with him. But I think it's awesome because there's no comparison, there's no relating back to like any of them. They're each a blank slate that I can become close with and build a bond with. Tykees, Chemo, Walter, Nick Cray. They all are just different creatures and have different skill sets. I hope that you guys get to see these one-handed catches our offensive line is making. It's just ridiculous. It's just athletes. A lot of fun.
When this offense was at its best, Pat White was rushing for 1,500 yards.
Yes, sir.
Is there a 1,000-yard rusher in you, do you think?
I'd like to think so, yes, sir.
You'd like to think so?
Well, I know there is, yes, sir.
How can they get that out of you? Or should they get that out of you?
Well, just playing within the system and playing the play that's called. You know, when I have my chance to run, I'm gonna get every piece of yardage that I can get, and then hustle back, sprint back to the ball, and I'm gonna run the next play. And if it's another quarterback run, then I'm gonna run just as hard as I did the last play. Say it again.
Were you throwing the goal line phase to the lineman at the end of practice?
Yes, sir, I was.
Any notes on?
I was Nick Cray. Nick Cray has like one hand is like that size, and he just puts a paw up, and he came down with it. So Nick Cray may get some wide receiver reps here.